Okay, hello everyone. I'm Tracy DeMario, and I am the Scented Bliss Family Superstar Director. So I'm so glad that all of you guys have had the opportunity to join us tonight. I'm really excited because this is personally one of my most rewarding parts of the business, and that is sponsoring. So we are going to talk all things sponsoring tonight. I'm going to spend the first few minutes doing some kind of overview type of stuff and conversations around sponsoring. And then we have a couple of our star directors that are going to be panelists this evening that are going to be assisting with the training components as well. So thank you guys in advance for joining us, and let's talk about this. So, again, we have all kinds of consultants on this call. From what I can tell, there's some of you that are veterans and have been around for a while, and there's some brand new consultants. So some of this might be kind of basic, might be kind of repetitive, at least right now, but we are going to, throughout the call, it's going to get a little bit more so that everyone is going to benefit from the content we're going to share here tonight. So first and foremost, why is it important to sponsor? If you join Scentsy because you actually want to make a business of it, if you would like to quit your day job, if you would like to have that extra income, if like in my case, I wanted to retire my husband from the restaurant industry so that he could be at home. If you have a reason why you're seriously into this because you want to make extra income, then you absolutely want to sponsor, because some of you guys have phenomenal months of selling. Some of you are just naturals. For some of you, it just comes easy and you have high PRV every single month. And that is always going to be awesome. That's always going to give you a healthy commission check. However, it will never come close or compare to what will happen when you're building a team and when you're sponsoring. And that's why I want everyone to grasp this concept and understand the value and the importance of sponsoring. So here's some common things that are commonly asked of me. And so I wanted to kind of start and just address some of them. And again, if you have others, feel free to pop those in the chat and those will be addressed here shortly. And we can even ask our panelists as well. So one of the things I'm commonly asked from both team members and individuals whenever I'm meeting them out and about is, when is the best time to join Scentsy? And some of you may know the answer, and some of you maybe truly don't know the answer. And the reality is, every day is the best time to join Scentsy, regardless of the day of the week, regardless of the month of the year, regardless of what catalog season that we're in. It is always the best time to join Scentsy. On numerous occasions, I have had consultants and team members say, well, I have somebody, but I want to wait until October so that I know it's going to be really busy and they're going to have really easy sales. Or, well, I want to wait until Bring Back My Bar campaign happens. And I'm like, well, do you not want to make money now? I mean, do you not like money now, or do you just like it in October? Like, here's the reality. People around them are going to be buying Scentsy from someone. So their neighbor, their coworker, their cousin are going to be buying Scentsy somewhere from somebody. They might as well be buying it from right then and right there, so that they're making money now, not waiting. And the other thing is, I've had people say, well, my life is too busy. Things are so busy. That's when you, as a consultant, need to have an understanding of how to overcome those objections. And we actually have a unit on overcoming objections. So if you've not checked that out, make sure that you do, because that's really going to help people understand how waiting, if they have excuses as to why they can't work the business, you need to help them overcome those objections to see how and why Scentsy can help them and bless them now during those things that are causing them stresses or their challenges, whatever they might be, whether they're financial, mental health, whatever. I can tell you on numerous occasions, my daughter's been hospitalized in the hospital, and I am so thankful that I had Scentsy, because not only was I able to share the opportunity while we were in the hospital with all of those people around me, but also it was such a great mental health break for me. And having many of you guys who I've met because of sponsoring, and because all of you guys have been sponsoring, became some of my nearest and dearest friends and helped me through a lot of really hard times. So when somebody asks you when is the best time, or if you have it in your head there's a best time, I'm here to tell you there's not a best time. It's always a good time to join. There's always a reason that they should join now. Next up is, well, what about the discounted kits? I want to wait until there's another $15 kit. I know 6 months ago they had a $15 kit. Well, number one, the reality is, regardless of what the kit costs, the Earn a Kit is now available to where technically they can get it for free. And some of you may have joined with the $15 kit, and that's great. We're glad that you did. But I think if you asked all of them that joined on the $15 kit, they will all tell you they wished they would have got the host kit or better. Because the reality is the $15 kit included 15 testers and like 5 catalogs. Yes, you got to get started in Scentsy, but at the same time, our Earn a Kit is by far a better value, whether they're paying the full $59 or they're getting it discounted. So that's one of the things I want you guys, don't be waiting for a $15 kit. Number one, because they can get it for free. If cost is the issue, that is no longer an issue. Scentsy has overcame that for you, okay? So you need to have a really good understanding of how to utilize that host kit. And I'm gonna put a plug in right now, so make note of this, and we can actually put this link out in the event later. Stephanie Breimer recently did a training for us on how to utilize the host kit. It's really, really good. Even if you think you know how to use it, she's got some great tips on it. So we will bump that back out. And that should address any and all questions you have about the Earn a Kit and how to utilize the Earn a Kit. Okay.
Great.
So I want to share. Yes.
We have a question. If I can, do you want me to wait or do you want me to?
You can go ahead and pop it in real quick. Go ahead.
Okay. From Kimber, she said, do you flip the party if the kit for free if they weren't the host?
You know,
my typing was horrible. I'm sorry,
That's okay.
Peggy.
That's okay.
No, what I was trying to ask was, do you flip the party of if they were the host and they earned the kit for free? Is that when you flip the party? Because I've been really apprehensive about flipping parties.
Okay. There's not a right or a wrong answer. You have the opportunity to do it how you feel is best. Me personally, if it's my host has had the party, I'm going to flip the PRV. If, in fact, in 2 different cases, my host did not want the kit, but 2 guests from her party utilized the kit, like on 2 separate party situations. And in both of those instances, I did flip the PRV in those 2 cases because I had a good connection with them. I seemed like they were really going to work the business. It got them closer to certified. I wanted to set them up for success. And that gave them some customers. Some of them worked together and such. Some went ahead and gave them a head start. So in both of those cases, I did do that as well. Even though they weren't technically, they were the host, they were a guest from the host. That's just how I personally have chose to do it. Now, if those parties are all things and orders like of my own or that I've collected, then I do not flip the PRV. That's just my personal choice. I do not do that. So that's just my choice on that. So, and we can come back to that later if there's additional questions around that. So another question that's commonly asked, well, when should I start sponsoring? How soon should I start sponsoring? I'm a brand new consultant. I have no idea how to understand the compensation plan. I've only placed 1 order. So when should I think about sponsoring? And the answer is right away. I can assure you, if you ask all of us that have teams, if we could go back and do anything over again, it would be that we understood the concept and the importance of sponsoring and doing it much, much sooner. Here's your reality. Whether you're a brand new consultant, a 1-week consultant, a certified consultant, you do not have to know everything. You do not have to know everything. That is why you have an upline. That's why you have a sponsor. That's why you have upline directors, star directors. You have our group, the training center. All of the resources are there for you. And I will tell you, it's much funner when you're learning with someone else and doing it with someone than when you're alone. And I've seen many of you guys, I love it when I see you guys working together. Some of you guys are pretty new and you've added a team member and you're like, we got this, and you know, working together and challenging each other. I'm telling you, that is by far the best. So do not wait until you know it all, because I'm a superstar consultant and I've been a consultant for 12 years and I still don't know it all. Okay. There's always things to learn and to know. So do not wait. Next up is, okay, well, I have some really good customers. If I have all of my customers join my team, I'm not going to have any customers or be in business. I hear this one all the time. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you've got great customers, then they absolutely should be team members. They should be team members, number one, because they love the product. They know a lot of the products. And the reality is you will make more financially from them as a team member than you will from their every 3-month order. So any opportunity you have to get your regular customers to turn into team members, absolutely do not pause. You want to do that. Now, what am I going to do when I have no customers? Well, if you're doing the other things that we've talked about in other happy hours and other trainings and in the group, you will constantly be growing and expanding your customer base. If you're actively doing all the things that we share and the tips and the tricks and everything else, your customer base is going to continue to grow. So there will be other best customers. They will keep coming. They're going to keep happening. So just remember that. You definitely want your best customers to be on your team. In fact, the more you can do of that, the better off you're going to be. Okay, so how are some of the ways that I can sponsor? So some of the things that I personally do that I feel like, and I'm very consistent. I mean, this is all the time. It's not occasionally, it is all the time on social media. There are numerous platforms on social media that you can use. I am not a pro, I'm not an expert, but I sprinkle it out there 1 to 2 times a week on my social media, various little posts. So I'm just sprinkling, I'm just sharing, okay? One of the other things that I do is I use Amy. I absolutely love Amy. It's a follow-up app. I've talked about it on numerous occasions. If you're not familiar with it, make a note to learn about it. But I have a little sprinkle on all of my templates that go out, all of my message templates. I will drop a little, just a little, plant a little seed about joining my team. I do mailings. I do customer mailings. I do customer thank yous. And I always make sure that there's something in there that talks about the opportunity. It's not the only thing that I mail, but I make sure that I'm including it in my customer mailings. Handouts. So I always, with Vistaprint, in fact, today is the last day for their 60% off sale. So if you guys don't have a lot of the things that I'm talking about, it's a great opportunity for you to create some. You can use some of the templates that they already have at Vistaprint.com and create them. And I do a ton of handouts. So I'll just do postcards that I can drop in all my customer bags, all my party bags, that just talks about me, my business. And of course, I always put a little seed on there about the business opportunity. Stickers, having stickers, you can print them yourself on Avery.com, or that is also something that you can get from both Scentsy Consultant Store or on Vistaprint. You can create your own stickers. Put those stickers on everything.
I have a few questions really quick.
Okay.
Jamie Wright is wanting to know if you have any Amy template ideas.
Actually, if you search Amy or message templates in our group, there's a whole thread with lots of them. So yes, use them, because I know I've posted lots of mine and other people have posted theirs there too. So that's in the Scented Bliss family group, by the way. So
and then there was a question about Vistaprint and Pro Shop. Does the sale include that?
It does not. The Pro Shop is a version of Scentsy. They've partnered together. Now, sometimes Pro Shop and Vistaprint do have sales, and you would get an email letting you know that whenever they're running that. But I'm referring specifically to the generic side of Vistaprint. Right now, the sale ends today for 60% off. The code is just the word sale, SALE 60. That is the code. So you can do some generic postcards, stickers, rack cards, opportunity brochures. It's endless what you guys can do. Thank you cards. I do all my thank you cards, postcards on Vistaprint. And then your opportunity packets. So if you don't have just like Peggy's got one right there that she just did. Possibility packets. If you're not sure what a possibility packet is or a join packet is, if you go to the Scented Bliss Team YouTube channel, there are examples. And there's Peggy's right there. Thank you, Peggy's being our Vanna too. Very nice. And there's no right or wrong way to do these things, guys. I mean, when I first started, mine were so simple, and they've just got a little bit more evolved as I've been able to get them involved. So it's not about how fancy it is. It's about just having it, and then not only having it, but sharing it, because this is a numbers game. You know, I can talk to hundreds of people at an event, and I might have a stack of 30 people that said they're interested in joining the team. And over the course of 1 to 3 months and my interactions through follow-up with them, I might get 3 to 5 of them to actually join my team. You know, that's just an example. So when people say, oh, I ask all the time, I ask 5 people every week. Well, if you're asking 5 people a week, that's really good. I mean, that's great. It's better than 0. But at the end of the month, you've maybe asked 25 people. So your odds are that maybe 1 to 2 will actually end up joining your team, if that. So I'm just saying, it is a numbers game, and you have to keep, and don't get your feelings hurt. I've shared this analogy many times. When you go to a restaurant and the server asks you, would you like to add dessert? And you say no, they don't turn around and cry or stomp off or say, I'm never asking anybody ever again if they want dessert. They just go on about their business, and they ask the next person and the next person and the next person. The same is true for all of you. And that is exactly how you have to think about it. Okay, a couple more things, and then I want to get our panel involved here. And that is, whether you are just getting into the sponsoring concept, you have brand new consultants, or and another piece which we didn't touch on yet is reinstates, in which Jackie and Angie are both, they are great at that. And welcome back. So if you go to the units in the Scented Bliss family group, there's one for new consultants, and you should spend some time there also, just so you're familiar with what is in that unit. There's one called reinstates, which tells you how to have people self-serve reinstate. And there's some documents in there that you can use to send to those who reinstate. And there's one called welcome back for consultants that actually do reinstate, that you can send them to for information. Okay. So those are some things that I want to make sure you guys have looked through, that you're ready for. All of you should have printed out that new consultant checklist and new sponsor checklist, and that's what you'll utilize. That's going to be your guide. It's going to help you, so you don't have to feel like you have to know it all. And that's going to be okay, because again, none of us know it all, so it's totally okay. Really, the thing that I want you guys to hear from me before I ask the other two to come on here is that you're going to hear no, and no does not mean forever. It just means no, not right now. And you're going to be meeting new people and different people all the time. And it's your responsibility to ask them and to share with them and to plant those seeds, because if you don't, someone else will. I think I saw on here, I think I saw earlier, I have to flip through the pages, but I think I saw that, yeah, she is on here. I hope I get this right. Is it Shantae? I hope I got this right. Shantae doesn't know. She's like, oh my gosh, you're calling me out. So she's a pretty new consultant, but I remember when I have my team member who has a team member who sponsors Shantae. And I remember when my team member, you following me? She messaged me, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because my team member sponsored someone and I know that person, you know, and it was just like one of these things where it was like really cool, but she's like, oh my gosh, I should have asked that person, you know, like, and then she's like, I'm so lucky that Shantae did because, you know, she's on my team. And that is, I hear that all the time, you guys, and I see that all the time. I'm like, oh my goodness, I know this person from high school, or I used to work with them and now they're in our Scentsy family, but they're not on my team. Well, guess what? If you don't ask, someone else is going to ask. So you need to make sure that you're always asking and you're always sharing the opportunity, because as much as we love and support all of us together, you always want your own people that you know and have relationships with on your team. But if you don't ask, I'm telling you, somebody else is going to. Okay, so what I would like to do now, first of all, Peggy, is there anything else that I should address real quick? No? Good job. Thank you. What I would like to do now is I'm going to ask two of our STAR directors, Jackie Duran and Angie Conrad. I'm going to ask them both to unmute. And then I'm going to ask them a couple of questions. And then if you guys have questions for them as well, use the chat. And so Peggy can help guide us with that. So let's start with Jackie. Can you just kind of give us a little bio? When did you start? What did the beginning of your journey look like? And kind of just doing a snapshot, what it looks like now.
I joined in January of 2012. I joined just because I liked Scentsy, so I wasn't doing it for any other reason other than I thought that it might be fun and I liked it. And so I didn't do much. I pulled some numbers too, and we'll share those in just a few, but I had a very long journey. So those of you who, I have a lot on my team who start really fast. I was like a snail starting. So whatever your journey is, just own it. Know that you'll get there when you're meant to get there. And in just this year, I promoted to star director, and things back then when I first started were way different. Obviously 2020 is just completely different than everything else altogether, but my business I've solely built on social media. So I think that's helped me climb and get to where I am today.
Very good. Thank you. Angie, can you do a little bio for us?
Like Jackie, I joined in October of 2014. So this year made my 6 years. Like Jackie, I started off very slow, barely made the minimum, and April of this year I hit director, and then October of this year I hit star director. I have an amazing team that has blown up. I've been recruiting since we did that host join kit. My team has tripled. As you can see in my numbers when I show you later, those last, from basically September on, I've had 5 to 7 team members a month. So it's been crazy, especially since COVID. It shut my job down for about 3 months. And so I had to rely on Scentsy and my husband's income to pay for the stuff that we like to do, all of our trips and different we take. And when they started back up, I think it was in June, we were allowed to go back. I decided I didn't want to. And so I've been doing this full time since June.
Very good. And Angie, just a question for you. So when your sponsor asked you to join, did you join right away?
No, it took several months.
Did she ask you numerous times, or did you just wait and then finally call her back, or how did that go?
She did ask me several times. So about in October, I finally said I'm done buying from her when I could make the money myself. So I was constantly buying product every month, mainly the warmers and scents of the month. So I decided that I would just do it for myself and then see where it went from there.
Very good. Excellent. Okay, Jackie, I did have a question for you too. So I know you said you got off to a slow start. When was your light bulb moment? Like what made things different for you?
My light bulb moment was probably about 1 to 2, well, probably closer to the 2 to maybe even 3 year mark, that I was kind of struggling. I mean, like Andrew said, like I was barely making active, and back then active was 150. So if that tells you anything about my sales, that's it. And so I struggled, and I just didn't know kind of where I fit, and I was a little bit different in I hated being a salesperson, so to speak. So I'm not the person who will get out in front of people, oddly enough. But I just decided, I started looking around on YouTube and found some other consultants who were kind of like me. They were like, this, let's try it this way. Let's try and do social media. And I thought, well, okay, I'll try that because I like that. And that's what I can do because my daughter was still very young and I knew I couldn't leave the house because we worked crazy schedules. Um, and I started doing it and I realized that there could very well be a future there. And I had a complete mind shift and growth mindset, I guess. And that's when I really took off on my business. And it wasn't anything other than I wanted to find a way to keep Scentsy, but make it work because what I was doing wasn't working. So I really had to reach outside the box.
And wasn't there a time, I think it's maybe been a little while, but wasn't there a time when like your job kind of like dissolved or something and you were able to use this as a backup plan didn't that kind of happen?
It did. I had, and my work, I worked full time for St. Luke's Health System here in Kansas City, and I had been with them since 2003. And I put myself back through college classes and everything else over the years after my divorce and everything. And so I really thought that I had a career. And so when I started working Scentsy as a business, it truly was never, even then, even though I had a vision and a growth mindset, it was never, oh, I'm going to quit my job someday and do that. I never was that person because I was way too scared to do that. And I was the breadwinner for a long time in the family. So I had the health insurance and all the policies and all the things. But I kept working my business, and it was in December of 2018. I had just made director like a couple of months before that. And my job came to me right before Christmas and they were like, your position is going to no longer exist. So you can either pick something else from the healthcare system or you've been here long enough and we're dissolving your position. So they offered me a package and you can go on your merry way. And I went home and cried and prayed with my husband. And he said, you know what, maybe this is your sign. Maybe you need to just focus on Scentsy for a while. So I'm going to give you 6 months. That severance package will last you for 6 months. At that point, then you decide. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And so I have never gone back full-time to work. I had a couple little jobs here and there, but this is my full-time job. I do this complete and solely full-time. So.
And are you able to support yourself, or is your income something that because of your sales, or is it your sponsoring that has made it beneficial for you to do what you're doing now?
That's a really great question because still to this day, and you've seen shout outs before. You'll never probably hear Jackie Duran in like that top 5, top 10 bracket. I am still not a salesman. I do much better than the 150 or 200 every month. I'm usually around the $1,000 range, so I do well. But my focus and my passion is training and sponsoring, and that's where I've always leaned, and that's where I'm the strongest at.
Well, and as a result, that's what's helping pay your bills too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. Now, Angie, I think this is a good one for you because I know until recently you were working full time. You have, a young child, and you were still actively working your business and finding ways to sponsor. Can you tell us how were you finding ways to have those sponsor conversations and able to grow your team while working full time and taking care of, a small child, and you obviously are married and have a husband to take care of too. How are you managing that?
I was asking every single person I came in contact with, whether it be reinstate. I had several through year 4 to 5 that would come and then they'd fall off and they'd rejoin and then they'd fall off again. But asking every single person, I'm also very rarely, now that we have the host join kit, close out a party without having somebody take that host kit. I will ask everybody until I find someone to take that, whether it be the host or just somebody that I come in contact with.
Very good. Excellent. Because I know a lot of people can identify with that. They're like, well, I have this full-time job and I have kids and, you know, can you really do this? And the answer is yes. In fact, a couple of my really good SSD friends, they still work their jobs full-time and are still managing to grow a very strong and successful business. So there are a lot of people that are, you know, and again, some of it's for life or health insurance purposes, you know, that they do need to hang on to their full-time job until they have the means to privately pay that insurance premium, which we all know can be quite crazy costly. And however, they're still growing and sponsoring and finding a way. So that's a great example, Angie. Okay, so now Jackie, I'd like to turn it over to you to kind of share now, just share generically as far as, you know, like not specifically a question from me, what do you think that they need to hear when it comes to when we talk about sponsoring?
Sponsoring, I'm going to quote my mentor, Tracy, and I'm going to say that sales are for today, sponsoring is for forever. And that has always resonated with me from Tracy. And that was the one thing that I was like, okay, that's where I need to focus. And she would talk a lot, and she still does, about building your front line wide. And so I knew, okay, if I want to get to where she is, that's what I have to do. I got to build a wide front line, and I have to remember that sponsoring is what's going to build that empire, so to speak. And so that's where I focused. And it, like I said, honestly, I love training and teaching. I even did it at my job when I had my job. And so I really just, I think the passion for all of that is more that I want people to know that they don't have to do it just one way. There's 1,000 different ways to get to where you want to be. And you don't have to follow just one path. You can make your own path. You can build your business around you. And just getting people to understand that, you know, they can work it around a full-time job. They can work it around the crazy kids and virtual school, and you can get through a lot of all of that with this opportunity. And so being able to share that has resonated more because I just share that passion. And I think I was talking to a team member earlier today about she was looking to get more sales. I said, here's the deal. You just have to share your passion more, and you're going to be more passionate when you're talking about something you like or you love. And if that's the product or if that's the business, then that passion's just going to be authentic, and people pick up on that and people relate to that. And with that emphasis, they want to be a part of that culture. They want to be able to do those things. And so doing that and just really focusing on duplicating that and getting them to pass that down to who they're talking to, and understanding that that's why we're doing all the things that we do. And that's what's helped me grow so wide.
That's really good. Now, Angie, you have, and both of you do, but Angie, you have great success with consultants that reinstate. So would you kind of talk about what it is you do? Do you have a follow-up system? Do you have a system of contacting them, or how is that happening? How is your team growing through all of these consultants that are reinstating with you?
Well, right now I'm using Project Broadcast, a campaign through there that sends them text messages every day. So as soon as they rejoin, I add them to that campaign, and so it gives them training. I let them know also that they can reach out to me anytime they have any questions, and to basically use the group, the units and different things in that group, and a Ascended Bliss group to help them along the way. And if they have any troubles, they can definitely reach out to me and we can try to figure it out.
So how do you though have such a high number of consultants reinstate? What are you doing to, like, do you call people who used to be consultants? How are you getting them back?
I'm just posting on different groups on Facebook, letting them know that it is free to come back. Most of them that I have come in contact with don't know that it is free to come back to reinstate their account. And so once they find that out, they'll definitely want to join. Some of them join several times and fall off several times before they really get going. But yeah, definitely posting using my social media to attract those consultants that have gone inactive and letting them know that it's free.
Very good. And I will say, just so that I don't forget, for those of you guys that if you've had team members in the past that are no longer active, you can do a support ticket or email account services@Sensi.com or call support and ask them to send you your canceled frontline report. So it will just be for your frontline. So it won't be everybody that's ever been on your team. But if you have a lot of people that you've had and just for whatever reason, they're no longer consultants, you can get that list so that you can then reach out and offer them to come back and see if they want to come back. I just wanted to throw that out there because I just thought of it. So Jackie, do you have anything to add around any of that?
I do, you're right. I get a lot of reinstates, and I hate to say that I forget about them because I don't forget about the people, but when you get focused on what are my numbers, when you see the column of recruits or team, however you want to say it, the team members, the downline, and it's like, oh, I forget that I've got these people over here, right? And so a lot of mine have all come, well, probably the majority, I believe, is YouTube. And it's not me just doing a video about, oh, you should come back and join my team. It's me just sharing all my trainings and my tips and products, and people, it's the like, no trust factor, right? And when they're still looking, that's telling you that they're looking for Sensi on YouTube, right? Like, I don't get on there and say, wake up with me with my makeup or something, right? Like, I'm not leading them on. It's just a straight, hey, this is Tuesday training or something, right? So somebody's Googling that, and the people who are Googling that are looking for somebody that they can connect with. And again, if you're going to be authentic, they can connect with you. You're the one that they're going to reach out to and rejoin. And so that's where probably, I don't know, I could probably run numbers somehow, but probably maybe 80 to 90% of my reinstatements are directly from YouTube.
Very good. Excellent. Well, just a couple of things. I've just been reading through some of the chats. Just a few little things. Number one is, focus on conversations, having conversations with people when you're out and about. And by listening to those conversations, it will give you cues and clues of reasons and to bring it natural, to have that natural conversation. As far as with joining your team, for example, if you're at a home party or you're on a Facebook party or you're at the ballpark or wherever, I know right now it's kind of different times, but when you hear people talking about how they're struggling financially or, those sort of things, and those are your cues. I mean, you have the solution for that, so there's certain things you can hear with conversations. So pay attention to those conversations and engage in conversations, make those relationships and make those connections. I have people talk about events and how, oh, I want to sell this much, or I didn't sell this much, or I don't have anything to take to sell. The reality is those conversations can be far more valuable than selling a 6-pack of wax. Okay. So focus on the conversations and building those relationships and those connections. And then the second piece of that is contact information. It is very, very unusual for me to have a conversation with someone and right then, right there, they join my team. It happens occasionally, but it's very, very unusual. It's typically through ongoing conversations and follow-up. And if I don't have their contact information, then they're not getting a postcard about the warmer of the month. Then they're not getting a sample, one of my felt samples when I send out felt samples. Then they're not getting my, Amy template messages. So because I didn't get their contact information, I can't do my follow-up. And it might be the 8th time. Some of you guys I know in the chat I saw, it might be 3 years later. I mean, I don't know when it's going to be, when finally the light bulb goes off for them and says, I should just do this Scentsy thing. But because I got their contact information and because I've been doing my follow-up, eventually they're going to pick me because they know I'm the real deal. I'm still in it. I'm in it to win it. They hear from me. I'm consistent. They're going to pick me, at least most likely. So that's really important. And then as far as things to say, when you're handing over that bag, whenever someone's purchased from you, whenever you're handing over a scent circle to say thank you or whatever, a really easy thing to say is, if you or anyone would like a new hobby or some part-time or full-time income, I would love to have you on my Scentsy team. Or, oh my gosh, I just saw how you interacted with that, or you engaged with that, or you seem like a natural. I would love to have you on my Scentsy team. Again, they're going to say, okay, well, thanks, no thanks, whatever. But at least you're planting the seeds and you're having the conversations, because it might be the 3rd time or the 7th time or the 27th time when they finally are like, I think I'm going to do this now. So those are just some things I want to throw out based on some of the chat stuff that I saw. The big thing is you do not stop trying. Don't stop trying. You heard Jackie and you heard Angie. They're both star directors, guys. That is one stop away from superstar director, from the tippy top. They are one step away. And yet they both told you they got off to slow starts. They didn't win any of the prizes out of the gate. Okay. So, but they stayed in the game. And because they stayed in the game, they're now star directors. They're now going to be superstar directors. They're now going to continue on these journeys. Their income's going to continue to grow. Their friendships are going to continue to grow. Their relationships with all of you guys are going to continue to grow. It's just going to get better and better. So had they quit when it was slow, or because they didn't seem like they were very good at it, or because it was hard, or because things sold out, or because they didn't like that somebody was mean to them, had they quit, they would not be sitting here as star directors and training you guys. So under all circumstances, you have to get the whole quit, I give up, this is too hard. It has to go away. As of right this moment, those words do not exist out of your brain. And now it's like Jackie said, it's the growth mindset. You know what? I can do this. If Angie can do it and Jackie can do it and Tracy can do it, I can do it. I might not be first, but I'm going to not be last, because I'm going to keep doing this. So until I grit my team and I grow my team and I grow my business, that right there is the absolute key. So Angie, what else would you like to share with our participants here tonight? She's muted. Did she walk away?
My computer
Oh, there you
won't let
go.
me unmute. Definitely just to keep asking, like Tracy said and Jackie said, we were both very slow to start. I'd have like 1 or 2 and then they'd fall off, but definitely just keep asking everybody.
Very good. And I will say this about many of you guys probably don't know Angie, because Angie is actually, I mean, once you get to know her, you can't help but love her because she's such an amazing human being. However, she's pretty quiet. She can be in a room and again, you won't hear her. She kind of, stays in her own space. She's not out there all over the Facebook, all over social media, like in our groups, but she has been extremely successful. She has one of the fastest growing teams in my organization. And it's because she has found a way. It may not be Jackie's way or my way, but she's found a way and she's worked it and she's continued to work it consistently. And as a result, she is seeing the successes. And then we have Jackie over here, who's the first to tell you she's not going to be salesperson of the year. She's not going to be getting the I'm the top salesperson, maybe ever. I mean, I don't want to say never, but maybe not. But at the same time, she's used her other strengths, which is social media, which is, making herself visible in an arena that she has found to be her thing. And because she's done it that way, it's working for her. And knowing what I know about Jackie, if and when the day comes and that's not working, Jackie will find another way, because Jackie's had a lot of reasons to quit. She's had a lot of reasons. She's had a lot of health issues. She's had job issues. She's had move issues. She's had, you name it. Jackie has had it on her plate, and she has chosen to overcome it because, again, she's in it to win it. Just like you guys have to have that mindset. I am in this to win it, knowing things are going to be thrown at you, but you just have to keep going. Jackie, would you like to share some stuff and kind of help us wrap up before we open it up to more Q&A?
Of course. So for those of you who like numbers, I'm going to throw some numbers out at you real quick, just to show not only gaps, but hyper growth, I guess. So remember I said I joined January of 2012. So obviously January 2012, 0. Yeah, like Trish said, no shooting star here, no sensational start here, none of that happened. So so a year later, so I ran it by December. So December in 2012, I had made it to a lead consultant, but I must have been doing amazing sales, right? My PRV for the month of December in 2012 was $49. Okay. I had a team of 4 people. So me and 3 others. 2 of them were active and 2 of them were my front line. So one of those people had sponsored somebody. That's where I was in December of 2012. Does anybody think Jackie would be sitting here as a star director today with that? Probably not. I wouldn't even. But fast forward to December of, well, here, I'll tell you. So 2012, I started. I promoted to lead in December 2012. I promoted to a star consultant in June of 2015. So I was a lead for 3 years. Okay. Then I promoted from star consultant in June to October in 2015. So pretty quick, right? All the way to superstar consultant. I was like, oh, I'm so close. I'm probably gonna hit director next month. This is gonna be amazing. I was a superstar consultant until September 2018 when I promoted to director. What did Jackie do for those 3 years? And then in August 2012, I promoted to star director. So that was pretty quick, right? Like I got big gaps there. So when I pulled some numbers, remember December 2012, my PRV was $49. I had 4 people. In December 2017, I was a superstar consultant at that point. My PRV for the month was a whopping $182. I was killing it in sales. I had a team of 31. 10 of those people were active, and I had 1 new recruit. Now, out of that 31 team, 25 of those were my frontline. I had recruited, sponsored 25 people, and a couple of them had sponsored a couple of people. So that was my wide front line, right? I was like, oh, I got this, Tracy. I got this. I figured it out. And so December 2018, by that point, I had promoted to a director. My PRV, we're getting better though, 869. Woohoo. Okay. I had a team of 55. 36 of those 55 were my front line. I had 9 people that were active. And I didn't have any new recruits. Apparently December is not my month for recruiting, but we'll see. December 2019, I was still a director. My PRV, I'd increased. It was $873. Then I had a team of 123 people. So in 1 year, I doubled my team size. I went from 55 the December before to 123. That next December. Out of 123, 55 of those were my frontline. So there's that. And then I had 17 of those people were active. It's awesome. December 2020, right now, 2 days in. Guess what my whopping PRV is? It's $25, but don't worry, it's going places. Okay, I promise it really is. I have, as of this month, 231 team members. 86 of those are my frontline. And right now I have 4 active frontline. And I have 3 directors. So I have 231 on my team. That plus my 3 directors and their team is 320. So I'm leading a group of 320 people. From the girl who did $49 after her first year for a month, people, for a month. Like, apparently I didn't even get cent of the month that month. I don't know what I was doing. But the main points that I really want to point out about sponsoring is this, and basing, like I said, off of Tracy, build it wide, and remember that sponsoring is for forever. Sponsoring is for forever. That's what's building your business. Increase your frontline, work on sponsoring and the earn it kits and all the things, right? You see how my frontline has increased over the years. It's continued to just jump. You need to really work when you do have team members, when you have a team, you need to work with them on getting active, because active frontline and your frontline, those are the things that are going to help you get to where you want to go and get your paychecks bigger. So there you go.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to, before we open it up here, I haven't looked. In fact, I meant to do that before we got on, but I didn't. So I love Angie and Jackie's story, because I think most people can probably relate to something that they have shared or something that they've said that is true to their personal journeys or where they've been. But we also have another piece of this that I want you guys to hear. And I know this to still be true, because I constantly have seen it happen. In fact, some of you guys in our very group are living absolute proof of this. And that is, whether you just joined today and you're a new consultant, or you've been a consultant for 9 years, it can happen fast. And so I'm just going to share some of my numbers real quick. And I don't have them as detailed as her. And I didn't look at today's, but that's okay. So I joined in November of 2008, and I promoted to director in 5 months. So mine was very fast and very furious. And there are definitely, like I said, some of you guys, I know we've got some on here that have done it in less than 3 months, which is just mind-boggling to me, but it can happen fast. So if you've been at a snail's pace, that doesn't mean that starting today, it can't look different really quick, because it still can't. I then promoted to star director a year later in October of 09, actually not quite a year later, it was just a few months later, because I promoted in April of 09 to director and October of 09 to star director. And then 11 months later, I promoted to superstar director. So it can go really fast. And just to kind of share some of the numbers here. So in November of 09, so this is when I had been a consultant for a year, my group size was 222. And I had 3 directors at that time. And my commission was $6,982. So that was a year after I'd been a consultant for a year. That was my commission. Then in November of 2010, so now I've been a consultant for 2 years. Now I have a group of 669, and I have 8 frontline directors. These are frontline directors. And my commission was $14,485 that month. So that was 2 years from joining. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, whether you've been at a snail's pace and you continue because that's just how your journey is supposed to look, or you hit the pavement running, as some of you guys will do and are doing, you too can promote to director in 5 months or less. You can promote to star director and superstar director in 2 years or less. You can earn $7,000 a month a year later, or more, or sooner. You can earn $14,000 in a month in 2 years or sooner or later. None of our journeys are the same. And the one thing that's probably the most important part to me and our community of Scented Bliss family is that together as a community, we do not compare, we don't criticize. Instead, we cheer each other on and we celebrate all of the victories, whether they're the small victories or they're the big victories. Because the reality is we are all better together. We all have strengths and weaknesses. And if we will share, and we do this in the spirit of sharing and cheering each other on and supporting each other, every single one of us is going to achieve the successes that we want. And that is the part that I think all of you guys can understand and relate to. And we just need to keep that spirit in our community going, thriving. And I really believe whenever you do that, you will be blessed. You'll be blessed by people joining your team. You're going to be blessed by getting different events or getting bookings. I mean, I really think it's a ripple down effect. And so I want you guys to really make that your focus as we're wrapping up 2020, thank goodness. And as we're going forward into 2021, that this truly can be the one and only business you guys ever need to have. It can be everything and all things for you if you want it to be that way. In January, we have a couple of programs. If you are a lead consultant and above, so if you're not a lead consultant, December, get to lead consultant, because in January, we are going to be starting a training program for the month of January for lead consultants and above called Soaring to Superstar and Above. And it is going to give you all the tools you need to get there. So really important between now and the first part of January, get to lead consultant. If for some strange reason that doesn't happen for you, you will not be left behind. We will be doing a training program starting in January 1st for essential and certified consultants. So if you have new team members that come on, they'll be able to pick up and they'll be able to join that program that's specifically designed for essential and certified consultants to help them get further in their business. Now, while we're in December, though, we're not going to dilly-dally around. We're not taking a month off. Instead, we're going to be following the posts in the Scented Bliss family group called Deliver in December. You're going to see all of the leaders in our group are going to be sharing on a daily basis some different tips and tricks and ways for you to engage in your business. We can give you all the information, but you're the ones that have to deliver. And let's do it in December so that we can be ready to start our 2021 off. So I'm going to turn off the recording now, and then we can open up some Q&A for a few minutes.